right, so let's probably get started. Hi everyone, welcome to join our Ask Me Anything live stream. Thanks to DREP Foundation for making this live stream possible. This live stream is hosted by Sydney University Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Society and DREP Foundation. We also have audiences from University of Technology Sydney Crypto Society and University of New South Wales Crypto Society. And we are supported by B4 community and Next Genius community as well, which are the two largest blockchain developer communities here in Sydney. Thanks for our community partners to support. Today's live stream will be constructed with 4 parts. Firstly, we'll do a brief self-introduction. Then the speakers will answer some questions regarding their journey in building the DREP public chain. In the third part, we'll discuss some hot topics, including Facebook's Library project. Then in the last part, we'll be talking about what lives look like for a blockchain developer and what traits are they looking for when hiring one. We'll finish with some community questions, and if you have one, don't hesitate to leave it down below in the comments. The live stream should last for around an hour. And before we start, I would like to thank you all for tuning into the live stream. A strong audience is a great head start for a successful developer community. Join our Telegram group chat so you can talk to the speakers after we finish the live stream. The link should be in the description or further down in the comment. So let's just jump right in. So Xiaolong and Edward, what led you down the blockchain rabbit hole? How did you get in here?
Hello everyone. My name is Xiaolong. I'm currently the co-founder and the CTO of DREP Foundation. DREP is a blockchain project registered in Singapore and is already traded in many top exchanges. And DREP's vision is to become a connector and a toolkit on blockchain, providing product solutions for every kind of enterprises. We will explain about that later. And a bit about myself. Before DREP, I was the lead developer at Quantum. And Quantum is among the top list of public blockchains by CoinMarketCap. Ever since graduating from Chinese Academy of Sciences, I worked as a game developer in Tencent Team Studio, and I'm an instructor on some blockchain accelerator initiatives. And I often give speeches to university students, but mostly in Chinese. So I will be talking a bit slowly when here in English. And next to me is our in-house blockchain developer, Edward. And he studied in the US for 8 years. Maybe Edward, you can introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Edward. I'm a backend developer here at DREP. It's truly an exciting experience to be on the team of blockchain developers. Here we worked on many components like the DREP public chain, the Explorer, the wallet application. In the public chain development, the consensus algorithm, and many other tiny parts that consists of the chain. We explore every possible way to make blockchain products with great user experience. Back when I was in school, I was informed of Bitcoin by my professor back in 2013. At that time, Bitcoin was $105 per coin. So I went ahead and purchased 40 of them. And then 6 months later, actually 5 months and a half later, I was able to sold everything at $1,077 per coin. So my next semester's tuition was covered. This experience led me to study further about how Bitcoin actually works and the technology behind it. They opened doors for me to explore and to discover. Fascinated by the idea of decentralizing the world we live in, I immediately jumped into the blockchain dev community after graduating from Wake Forest University in North Carolina. The technology behind blockchain is pretty genius, yet it also consists of many existing technologies that we are already familiar with, like cryptography, point-to-point networking, etc. I'm really looking forward to seeing blockchain technology being adopted by the general public and me as a blockchain engineer to bring values to the society.
Okay. Hello, Hill.
Sorry, I missed your last sentence. I didn't hear it.
Do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah. All right, why not?
All right, sure. So I really look forward to seeing the blockchain technology being adopted by the general public, and as a blockchain engineer to bring values to the society.
Sounds very good. So let's move on to question 2.
Okay.
So in terms of blockchain, one of the largest limitation is scalability, which the technology excites people, but it really becomes question how we can actually use this technology in daily life, given such a low transaction per second throughput. So what's DREP's development on scalability? And tell us more about DREP. What are you working on? How do you differentiate your project from other cryptocurrencies out there?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Hill, for this question. And as I mentioned just now, I'm kind of an old soldier in this industry. Ever since entering the blockchain industry, I have been thinking of ways to improve the current tech and make it more convenient for all the developers and companies out there. Currently, there are all kinds of projects out there, but they have been relatively isolated, focusing on building their own ecosystems. This results in many applications that seek blockchain as service have trouble choosing the right chain. And even if they succeed in doing that, they still end up facing the dilemma of having to develop applications on different platforms. So the vision of my project, DREP, is to become the connector to connect these closed ecosystems and to become a toolkit that can provide convenient solutions. Yes.
Yeah, interesting. And so I have another question regarding your design for DREP. So it's like when we're doing the marketing for AMA, a lot of people can want to study about accessibility and user experience. Can you go further in depth regarding the design of these two elements in DREP? And do you have any tips and tricks for all the developers out there? How can they implement those two elements into their own design?
Maybe Edward, you can.
Yeah, I think I'm more qualified to answer that question. I think a good user experience is easy to understand. The simpler it is, the easier is it to use. So if you look at I'm token, basically every crypto user has it. That's a very representative of a good user experience in blockchain products. So during our development, we constantly optimize the products and test them to see if it's really convenient for the users, and especially for a newbie who just have entered the crypto space and try to learn things and try to be part of the community. There's no quick fix to a good product, so we need to constantly iterate.
Exactly. Actually, at the end of the day, people really don't need to know the nitty-gritty of blockchain technology. What people expect is the features of a decentralized, trustless service. Simplicity is the key. For example, the initial learning curve can be quite steep for the average users who want to be part of the crypto world. DREP testnet 3.0 deals with such issue. We added the function of alias, which allows the users to use human-readable nickname to represent the complicated address. So instead of having to remember the complicated address, the users can use our system very easily. All these actions matter greatly if we are to build a product convenient for every dummy to use. Yes?
Yeah, so Speaking of these two very important elements, I think we're trying to work together towards real applications. And I think I see a few questions on the comment section asking about this as well. So it's actually pretty coincidentally that our focus was talking about whether you have seen a real blockchain application or not. And I think one of the viewers specifically asked about the application of Bitcoins. So what's your idea on real application of blockchain technology? Did Bitcoin achieve that?
Wait, so which question are we talking about in the comment section?
Maybe later.
So it's like asking whether you can use Bitcoin in real world or not.
Oh,
so I guess
Bitcoin, right?
Take it.
Well, the caveat of using Bitcoin as a everyday cryptocurrency is that it's kind of slow, right? So when you send a transaction, it takes on average 10 minutes for it to be able to be included in a block, and then another 60 minutes, which is an hour, to be able to confirm it. So that actually blocks a lot of use cases from real life. That's why we've seen many other blockchain projects that come up with much faster block production time, and which supports almost instant transaction. So I wouldn't think Bitcoin would be the cryptocurrency of everyday use, but it sure would be the most valuable in the market.
So have you seen any other real application of blockchain technology besides, say, people using Bitcoin as as a speculative instrument or say holder of value?
Okay. When I talk with I come from Tencent. When I talk with Tencent blockchain, when I talk with Tencent's blockchain manager Aaron Tsai about the use case in a large scenario, being strict with ICOs and the cryptocurrency, it is still supportive regarding to the tax adoption. So in Shenzhen, Walmart already started invoicing on blockchain powered by Tencent's blockchain infrastructure. We here at DREP, we are helping a number of enterprises in Australia, China, and the Middle East to embed the technology into their existing infrastructure in industries such as real estate, auto, etc. The adoption is happening slowly but surely. We have great admiration towards builders in this industry. Yes, and Edward, you can.
Yeah, I think there are quite a number of applications already in real business. For example, the Chinese tech giant Alibaba has developed its own blockchain. It's called Ant Chain, right? So it enables a bunch of applications from public welfare fundraising to logistics records and like personal credit profile management and property rental records. So all of these data are going to be brought onto the blockchain. And the cool thing about it is it is not reversible, right? So these new ways of leveraging the unique advantage of data irreversibility and security is a new round of innovation, which could very soon lead to a lot widespread of blockchain technology application.
Yeah, thank you, Edward. So when we talk about Tencent and Alibaba, of course, we cannot ignore there's another giant in the blockchain industry that's outside China, which is Facebook, making headlines, trying to push their own cryptocurrency Libra, or should I say, with the hope to transform the global economy. What's your opinion on the Libra's initiative?
Yes, I personally think it is a great initiative. Firstly, Facebook's initiative really puts blockchain and cryptocurrency under the spotlight. The total number of the cryptocurrency holders in the world is around 40, maybe 40 million. In comparison, along with WhatsApp and Instagram, Facebook group has about 2.7 billion users in the world. The amount of exposure of our industry has received is beyond imagination because of Facebook. So it could really raise the awareness of the industry and hence the liquidity as well. So, but technically, Facebook isn't bringing much to this table. It excels by gathering the top players in the financial and tech industry. Its potential is understated. In the regulatory aspect, Facebook may face a long process, but even if Facebook's coin's idea fails to pass the technology threshold or regulatory framework, it is still a great step for this industry because it creates a new paradigm of borderless currency. There is no one single currency that can be used as a global currency, not even the US dollars. But if Libra really takes off, we are very likely to see a new international financial systems. Quite exciting, yes.
Well, I actually think.
Yeah, Edward.
Yeah, I actually think Facebook's Libra tech is pretty underestimated. It's a commercially viable model by allowing major institutions like venture capitals, banks to become nodes, right? So they all become block producers. It's relatively a mature idea because it to some extent helps with the speed and efficiency. Second of all, it's built on the research and experiment result of the past 30 years from ICT, fintech, and decentralized finance. So all these top players in the tech industry are bringing their tech and their resources to the table to help Facebook in building this project. So we have many reasons to believe that it will overcome quite a few bottlenecks. So how about you, Hill?
So actually, my society is recently drafting a report on Facebook's Libra. We're trying to adapt a few business models such as SWOT analysis and Porter's 5 forces to give an all-round analysis onto Facebook's Libra. So the report is not out yet, but I have a tiny opinion on Libra is that whether it fails or make it, it doesn't. So technologically, it doesn't change a lot. But if Facebook can actually make it and enable people around the world to use its product, it really creates a good example for, say, it's the way to get past deregulations or the way to survive under deregulation. It will be a very good example to all the blockchain projects out there that you have a chance to become legit and then make people use your product under blockchain technology. And then, so I think we have an additional question from the community, which should be, so we'll put a lot of the questions in the chat later on to the end of the live stream so that we can have a dedicated time period to answer. So up to question 6. So when we're seeing all those projects and cryptocurrencies doing all this sort of stuff, a lot of them started from a few years ago. However, we haven't really seen the real world impact that allows everyone to use it. So what do you think is the biggest challenges facing the blockchain industry that prevents it from spreading much faster than it is?
Okay, so we all know we have a lot of challenges, especially in technical side, and Edward, you can share the technical points later. And for me, I will say finding the real-world applications and the regulations is very big challenges for us. Other regulations are also introduced by governments and other financial institutions in an attempt to control the blockchain industry. players have to stay aware of these regulations and work correspondingly. And Edward, you can share some technical challenges.
Okay, yeah. So from a technical point of view, blockchain platforms seem to be unable to achieve the perfect balance of scalability, security, and decentralization. So we see congestions on the existing blockchain networks like in Ethereum and also Bitcoin. So these happens in regular basis. The throughput is not enough, right? So, however, newer platforms, for example, like EOS, has innovated around this. They use delegated proof of stake as their consensus algorithm, but they end up compromising decentralization. So beyond this, in the recent general data protection regulation that the European Union introduced mandates that the data must be removable, which is directly at the opposite of what blockchain brings to the table. Everything stays irreversible, stays on the chain, right? So players will have to innovate around this, given the immutable nature of transactions on blockchains.
Yeah, thank you for the answer. So I guess we can move on to part 4, talk about your life as a blockchain developer, which a lot of the audience must be very interested in. So we're very curious what a typical day of you as a blockchain developer looks like.
Edward.
I think I'm more qualified to answer this question, since Xiaolong is, as the co-founder, is engaged with many other different things. So it's quite interesting for me to work as a backend developer. I write automated tests for the code that I've written for the day, and I never shut down my computer. I have the tests running throughout the night, and every morning when I come to work, I see a lot of test results and logs generated. It's pretty exciting to see the results. It means a lot of bugs to fix, right? But it's still exciting to see them, and being able to fix the bugs always gives me the biggest pleasure, right? So also I love to chat with my colleagues during lunch hours. We go out for lunch on a regular basis together. So we talk about different things that we come across during our dev work. The team consists of front end and back end. So we talk about different aspects of the project. So I do get a lot of different views from like how a front end developer sees what we are providing them with. So it's stimulating to hear about different perspectives.
Yeah, speaking of blockchain developers, I heard that you mentioned there are 2 parts of the project. There's a front end, there's a back end, and I assume that different people is responsible for different tasks in that way. So in terms of what traits do you value most when hiring a blockchain developer? Do you have set a different value on positions? Can you go more in depth with that?
Okay. Firstly, we are always hiring the good developers, and but it's very, very difficult to hire the good developer. Yes. For us, apart from professional knowledge, we look at the blockchain development talents who are practical, who care about the real needs of enterprise and find easy solutions to address those issues. I think an acute sense of how to make use of the existing algorithms and the techniques and the drive to build something new and to practical are what we are looking for. And in Bitcoin, there are no new techniques come out. Satoshi just combines a lot of existing algorithms together, and then Bitcoin come out. Yes. because of ultimately the meaning of the technology is not to simply pursue high throughput, but to remove all business limiting bottlenecks and allow individuals and corporate users to seamlessly use blockchain services. That's also exactly what we are do here at DREP. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we look for more T-shaped person, right? So a blockchain developer must possess not only blockchain skills, that's the long vertical stroke of the T, but also cross-discipline board skills, the horizontal part of the T, such as design thinking, agile, DevOps, and continuous delivery. So in short, someone with like a strong data structure and algorithms background foundation and understanding of prevalent cryptographic and consensus algorithms alike. You do need to know your stuff to be on the to be on the development team.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. I guess we'll quickly move to community questions. We really got a long list of interests down here. And so I guess I'll just scroll through. I remember there's one question. Yeah, it's regarding the consensus protocol of DREP and Libra. So if I didn't remember wrong, DREP, you guys use magnetic fault tolerance protocol, and that's actually what Libra is using as well. So can you go more technically into detail? So regarding your own consensus and regarding your understanding of consensus, is there a difference like others are working?
Right. So the main consensus algorithm that's being used right now, like Bitcoin's proof of work and some other pure proof of stake blockchain projects, they have trouble achieving a high throughput, a high transaction per second performance. That's why PBFT comes into place, right? So in DREP chain, we use the combination of proof of stake and PBFT to achieve actually over 10,000 transactions per second. So PBFT works so there are a number of, we call them validators or block producers. They are the DREP token holders who are among the top ranking lists. So if you do want to become a block producer, you would have to be holding a certain amount of DREP tokens. That's the first requirement. And then you can apply to be one of the block producers, which requires you to put down a security deposit, right? In case something happens, or if that node is doing something maliciously, that deposit can be taken away. So there is something actually at stake. The nodes, the validation nodes, they talk to each other constantly. They want to achieve a consensus on which transactions will be included in the next block. And a very good advantage of PBFT algorithm is that it's always final. There's finality guarantee on each block that's being produced. Once a block is produced by the PBFT algorithm, it's final. There's no way to fork the chain from any point earlier than that block.
Mm-hmm. So before I move on to the next session, so I noticed we have a few Korean viewers actually, and I see a few question marks. So sorry I couldn't understand Korean, but if you have any questions, can you please like translate into English or Chinese or whatever and post it down here? So the second question is, Facebook plans to have Libra adopted as a payment mechanism and other financial services built on top of this blockchain network. Technology-wise, do you think it is feasible? So what I think he asks is, in terms of its technology feasibility, what chance do you think is that Facebook can get?
I think they have a pretty good chance of incorporating their layer of payment system on top of the Libra chain. PayPal is already part of the initiative, right? So, and a chain that incorporates smart contracts would actually enable different tech companies or even communities to build things on it. So it wouldn't be a big barrier for these players to be able to incorporate their system into the chain.
Mm-hmm. I also see another question regarding is kind of doubting that the DREP's adoption in Australia. So can you go more in depth about your partners in Australia, how you're going right now?
Yes, we collaborated with some Australian projects. EE. EE is the biggest Chinese local the biggest local Chinese information platform for Australian Chinese people, and we also collaborated with tech out platform named Hark, and Hark already running their business in the biggest about 6 cities over Australia, and we also collaborated with some Australian universities like Sydney universities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, this is a question that's earlier in the chat, but I missed it. So in terms of Libra, when it came out, what kind of implication will it create for DREP products in terms of you guys?
Oh, we lost you for a bit. Can you restate that question, please?
So it's like, what kind of impact will Facebook's Libra initiative create for you for DREP?
Try to collaborating with more big.
Are you guys like competing, or it's like can you build on top of one another? Like community on top about this?
Yeah.
Well, I think we aren't actually competing with them. Facebook aims to build a global payment system that uses its borderless currency, right? So, but DREP actually focuses on connecting different blockchain projects and making it easier for businesses to use blockchain as a service, an easier experience. So we provide the DREP SDK, which allows them to do transactions not only with one or two cryptocurrencies, but most of them. And besides that, we have the reputation system that Facebook doesn't have. So we're actually not working. I don't think we're competing with each other. But I think it's if it succeeds in bringing the payment system online and pass its regulatory framework obstacles, I think it would be interesting to see how it plays out, especially in China, because we are actually the biggest mobile payment country in the world.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, so there's a question that asks whether DREP will go to Los Angeles for Ask Me Anything session. So what's your future plan? Do you guys, plan to travel to other parts of the world to a roadshow or something?
Yes, we have been last week we was in Korea for have 2 meetup and we also travel to Middle East and Australia, and then later in this year we will go to the West, to the Europe and America. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just see a very interesting question pop up from the chat. So it says you guys look very tired. Do you just work for the company and not eating? So can you tell us about your working environment? Like,
yeah, we actually ate together this for lunch today. So sometimes it can be tiring, but as new progress is made, there's also the encouragement part that comes. So I think there's a balance between the two.
mm-hmm. Yeah, a new question pop up is talking about Bitcoin. So how do you guys see Bitcoin in 5 years?
What?
Oh,
How do you see Bitcoin in 5 years?
In 5 years, you mean the price or the adoption? I think more.
Well, I guess you can talk about anything.
Okay, I think the price will go up definitely, and and I think over the world more and more people will own Bitcoin. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident with Bitcoin because it's literally the first project of the blockchain industry, and next year it's gonna half its production.
Year.
So it's actually 6 months away or something like that.
Yeah.
So
first half.
Yeah, I would expect the price to go higher before that actually happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just for the record, I don't think this asking anything in live stream is for investment advice. So if you want to invest in Bitcoin, you are doing it at your own risk. Yeah, I guess that's a lot of community questions. So if I may have one question to myself. So for those who don't know me yet, I am the president for Sydney University's Blockchain Society, and that's the reason so my question is, assuming that if Bitcoin or the blockchain industry just vanishes tomorrow, like no one will talk about blockchain ever again, what will you be working on besides blockchain?
You first, Edward.
I'll probably go into IoT. So at my house, I have all of those smart devices that they're all connected to my router or my Zigbee hub, right? So I think that's a new way of living for generations to come, and there are a lot more things that we can do to make everyday living smarter.
Okay. And for me, I think I will be still in gaming industry. Yes, because I worked for Tencent, the TV studio, and a very good game studio in Tencent, and I think over the world. Yes, and I think because I like a game, and I like play game, and I also like develop game, and also for DREP, we are focused a lot in the game industry. We are trying to build a game SDK for the game developers, for them to build a decentralized game. Yes.
I think I saw a comment wanting me to show my IoT devices. Here's a list of them. A lot of them.
Did you bring it in?
Yeah, it's all at home, but I can control them right here from my phone. Yeah.
That looks very cool. Yeah. So if we don't have any more questions, sorry for our Korean friend. So if our Korean viewers would like to ask them some questions, I guess you should join the Telegram group chat so that you can talk to them later. And thank you everyone for coming, especially thank you to Sheldon and Edward. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate the effort of all the DREP employees and Sydney University Blockchain Society's members and our community partners from UTS, UNSW, and UNS. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you,
joining
Alan.
us today. Yeah, we'll be answering more questions in the Telegram chat. So stay in touch.
Yeah. Thank you, Hill. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, see you guys.
Bye.
All right, we're
Really
gonna
appreciate
end,
it.
Thank you.
all right, we're gonna end the live stream now.
All right.